Okay, guys, I want to show you a game that I had. Again, it is Shyvana, so you might have seen my last video where I talked about Shyvana being really strong right now. I kind of want to showcase how you can win in jungle just by doing this. And when I mean this, I mean farming. We're going to talk about how I went through this game. It wasn't going massively well, but how I accelerated my gold to the point where I was so unbelievably in the lead, the Fiora just couldn't keep up with me. So we're gonna speed up the early game just because I kind of want to just mostly show you. You guys have seen the way that I jungle path. I'm doing the same thing here. Sorry, very briefly had a work thing to respond to. Okay, so I've got a bit of Yuumi help to start with. You guys can see, smite that camp, take it very quickly. I'm using my burnout to get through it as quickly as possible, and then we are on to the red buff. We then obviously don't smite the red buff if we can help it, and then we go through to the Razor Beaks. Now, I see Fiora. Can you see I see Fiora here? So I can see Fiora's right there, right? There's a ward and she's in the lane, so I have exactly an idea about where she's going to be. So after doing the Razor Beaks, I immediately go over to here and I take this River Scuttler. I don't know where Fiora is. I saw her ward here and I saw her kind of disappear in the fog of war for some time when she went towards that River Scuttler. So I actually assumed that she was doing my blue buff. So I decided to go and do her blue buff because I thought that exchanging blue buff was going to be the way to go here. So I decided to go for her blue buff. I actually just want to turn off the fog of war, actually. Yeah. I decided to go for her blue buff. And I take it because I assumed that she was actually trading my blue buff. Now, because the bot lane disappeared, I thought they were coming to collapse on me, so I didn't take the Gromp, although I would have taken the Gromp if at all possible. Now I go back to my blue side jungle, and I am just clearing it out. Now, this is where you're probably going to be getting a bit like of flame from your teammates. Like, my bot lane got killed by the Fiora gank there. However, to me, Shyvana doesn't really do anything pre-level 5, right? And the ultimate win condition for Shyvana is farm as much as physically possible. So I decided to go for a full blue side clear. I then have a look at the map. Not really a great opportunity top unless the Shen overextends, and Zed very difficult to catch as a Shyvana, especially if he's got flash and ultimate available. So I go for this Gromp. Now you can see Shen kind of overextended, but then the Jax died. So instead of wasting my time and just backing, I look for a little opportunity to go and steal away the Krug camp, which you can see here. And then with Shen sticking around, I just use my ultimate to jump in, and I can then see that obviously the River Scuttler is spawned. And by this point, if we have a look, I am at 92 stacks towards my first ability upgrade at 3 minutes into the game, which is about a minute before the next dragon spawns and the next objective spawns, which with these camps up on this side, you can see here, with the camps up on this side, I actually have the ability to kind of like, you know, get that upgrade. Now, unfortunately, weren't able to fight in that bot lane engage. But I do now have my first ability upgrade. I also have my Trinity Force, which is actually a really important metric. So when you're playing a farming jungler like Shyvana, getting your first big item upgrade before the objective spawns is really important. And Shyvana specifically, you also want to make sure that you have your ultimate available, because that is the thing that actually makes you a champion. You actually can't really play the game without your ultimate. So that's something that you have to be aware of with Shyvana. So I now have my Trinity Force. I'm going to very quickly take red buff because that will be important in the next fight. And because we aren't really making moves towards the dragon, you can see here. Now I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. Jump in. And I steal the dragon with my ultimate. And I'm really, really strong at this point. You can see that all of the work that I've done in the first 5 minutes of the game has been primarily about making this easier for me. So this is all been about primarily making it so that I'm going to come into the first objective fight super, super strong. Another good little tip, right? We just killed a load of people on the bottom side of the map. We want to take away resources from the enemy. We also want to, obviously, a Shyvana farm as much as possible. If you win a dragon fight, it's really easy to just walk into the enemy jungle, especially when you're actually in your dragon form. I mean, look how quickly you take these objectives. This leaves Fiora with 2 camps less that are going to take a little bit longer to respawn, and it gets you 2 extra camps. And my efficiency now means that I can now move down towards the River Scuttler, which is respawned. I can reset. I can then look for blue side jungle, potentially even looking to contest the Rift Herald. Kind of just want to illustrate, like, this is just kind of like the building of the first 5 minutes of this game. I didn't gank, only took gank opportunities when they were really obvious, primarily focused on farming and clearing as many camps as possible, getting enough gold to get my Trinity Force before the first objective. By the time the first objective came around, I was super, super strong. So you can see now that I've seen the enemy head up towards the Rift Herald. I unfortunately don't have my ultimate, so like I said, I'm not really a champion without my ultimate. So this is going to be more of a case of just like walking in and hoping that my team does the majority of the work, which they do. As you can see, my team did a really good job of buying us time, and I'm able to just walk in, try and kill Fiora like that, and then I actually miss-smited but get it with my Q. But kind of wanted to kill Fiora before it got below 1000 HP because that makes it a little easier. And then jump in, get the kill, get a double kill off the back of that fight, straight up towards the top side. Don't even need to use Herald, but I do. That was a complete dumb move from myself. This is actually a bit of a whoopsie. We didn't really need to use the Herald, but again, look at this. We're just going to walk in. We're going to try and take camps. As you can see, I have Yuumi on me. There is absolutely no way that a Zed can actually fight me in this scenario. And as you can see, also going to threaten the Shen, who's going to flash under tower or taunt away under tower. And with the Fiora chasing me, I've got 3 levels up on her at this point in time. But I actually thought that we could fight this, but we can't, and I get taunted and we die. Would have been much better for me there to just try and steal away a couple more camps in the red side jungle, and then head towards my blue side, which I haven't cleared for a while, and ensure that I'm getting the proper stacks. Speaking of stacks, I'm at 243 at 7 minutes into the game, which is pretty good going. A really, really, really good Shyvana game will get you to 400 stacks before, or thereabouts 10 minutes, which will be all of your upgrades possible. I now have the complete jungle to farm at this point. Now remember, Fiora got like a double kill at the start of the game. None of my lanes are doing particularly well. My Jax is 0-4. My Orianna's doing pretty good, and so is my Yuumi. But it's not like any of my lanes are absolutely crushing at this point in time. We've built our we've built our lead just through the farming strategy that we've had in this game. And this, if you just put it into the context of the gold, I'm 7,300 gold. The only person that's close to me right now is Caitlyn at 7,200 gold, which, you know, undeniably is a little bit scary because Caitlyn is a bit of a pain. Now, I've seen a bit of action go mid. There was an option for me to potentially push bot and get the tower, but with some low HP bars at mid, I thought maybe a good time to try and engage and look for something. And I jumped straight onto the Caitlyn, who dies immediately. Then I'm on to the Zed, who gets killed off as well, and it's a double kill because Shyvana is so unbelievably broken. So it was a good idea for me to rotate. And now is an option to go into my blue side jungle and just clear away those blue side camps that have been sitting there for a little while, because of course they're worth stacks, and that blue buff has been very, very long time coming to before it goes down. And you can see I'm going to clear away pretty much everything with relative ease. I've got my second item spike, which is my Blade of the Ruined King, which is a really nice item for Shyvana in general. Attack speed works really well with Shyvana's kit. So clearing away my entire blue side jungle, which gives me the opportunity to now reset with a load of gold and head towards the next objective. And again, always focusing for the first 5 or 6 minutes of the game before the first objective, we're focusing primarily on farming efficiency in camps. We just want to get as much gold with the least risk possible, especially for these high risk junglers like Shyvana, who, you know, in the early game can be very easily invaded and dealt with. So we're really looking to have as low risk gold income as physically possible. By the time that we get to the first objective, we're strong. We want to fight, and beyond that point, we're looking for any opportunity to get involved in skirmishes and use our power for our advantage. You can see here, just jump in and smite away the River Scuttler, and then use my ultimate straight on Caitlyn, who overextends. She's now used Flash. I flash over the top of her to make sure that I'm at least attempting to put pressure on them. And you can see I end up dying, but the rest of the team is able to clean up because I did so much damage to the rest of their team there. And that results in a really nice set of kills for the Yuumi and also for the Ashe, who are then able to get the bottom lane tower as well, which again accelerates our gold. We're not actually that far ahead as a team. We're only about 5k ahead as a team, by the way. Primarily, that's coming through my gold income, which you can see is 10,000 gold at this point in time. Second dragon is the Infernal, which will be a really nice one to secure. Use the Yuumi ultimate, and I'm actually going to focus the dragon in this situation. I don't have my ultimate, so I'm really looking to generate and get my ultimate. I do smite it away. Fiora misses. Kill Fiora without the need to use my ultimate, and then ultimate over the wall. Unstoppable through the Seraphine ultimate, which is really nice. And then we just end up chasing Seraphine, who's going to get slowed down by Yuumi. Even with the Shen coming through, we're just able to kill her with a rogue Q, and Shen can probably kill him as well. Close to, anyway. And once more, really, really, really good tip when you're a very high clear speed jungler like Shyvana. If you're in the enemy jungle and you want to fight, don't let them get away with it. take their jungle, deny them resources. Every jungle camp that you take and you kill is a jungle camp that your enemy jungler cannot. And so that's a massive, massive gold drain on their team. You can build a huge gold deficit for the enemy jungler just by denying them as much farm as physically possible. And speaking of gold deficits, the Fiora, who is 4-4 and 5, she's not had a bad game by her KDA metrics, right? If you look at her KDA metrics, that's pretty average, decent-ish KDA. One could expect that a 4-4-5 KDA might end up resulting in a Fiora winning a game if the rest of her team is pretty good, right? So you're not looking at that and thinking that Fiora's feeding. She's been involved in 9 of the 15 kills that they have. She's got 7,000 gold to my 12,700. And I'm 7-2 and 6. It's not like that is a ridiculous increase in kill score. I've just farmed the crap out of her jungle and farmed as much as my jungle on rotation as physically possible. And that's the benefit of farming junglers like Shyvana. It's a very low-risk way of dealing with, a very low-risk way of dealing with gold income as a jungler. You don't have to commit yourself like Lee Sin to ganks because you have such a ridiculous clear speed that even spending a couple of seconds in the enemy jungle could often result in you being in, a situation where you're able to just deny a ridiculous amount of gold and generate a huge amount of gold for yourself. Now, I use my ultimate here, and then because I know that the Caitlyn flashed, basically just flash on top of her. One of the great things about Shyvana is if you know that the enemy doesn't have a flash available and you do have your flash, you can go for a huge amount of burst damage and stick to them with burnout. And that then results in us getting a Seraphine kill and a Caitlyn kill. We use the Rift Herald top. We end up getting the mid lane tier 1, and I'm not done denying jungle. Oh no. I'm walking through the enemy jungle as Dragon Form, and I am going to absolutely obliterate these jungle camps. Like, Fiora's not getting her red buff, she's not getting her wolves, she's not getting her Krugs. This is all massive gold denial from the Fiora, who has absolutely no other source of income because the rest of the lanes already are being used to funnel, the other members of the team. I'm now 14,000 gold to Fiora's 8,000. We are almost double this Fiora's gold income, and although my stats are a bit more, I guess a bit more impressive than hers right now, I'm not exactly, I'm not 15 and 0. I've built this lead against the enemy jungler by primarily denying enemy jungle farm, but also being efficient with my own jungle clear as much as possible. As you can see, as the game progresses, the efficiency of jungle clears generally tends to reduce. You're needed in various areas on the map, and so therefore you're not going to be as committed to kind of like constantly clearing jungle on rotation. But as you can see here, like my team are okay. They're doing fine. I'm not really bothered about going to join them. I'm actually more bothered about continuing to pressure the side lanes. But then with the big overcommit from the Fiora, you can see here, I'm just going to jump straight in. The only person that I care about is Seraphine, and she just gives up at this point. And then we're straight onto the Zed, who also goes down. And as you can see here, we're going to kill the Shen. And we're not going to bother using my Q until it's over, but then we get the triple kill and end the game. And we primarily built this lead through farming. Took some obvious ganks when they were there, but we primarily built this lead through farming, which is a really, really good way to get a guaranteed win. And I will show you so you can see, this is I was playing Baron lane again a little bit, but if we go back down to my Shyvana games, you can see that it results in a lot of really, really, really strong wins and strong losses. And I actually specifically want to show you my Season 6 stats for Shyvana at 914 gold per minute, which is a very, very, very high stat for gold generation, on any champion. The KDA as well is pretty decent, but in general, very high gold generation for a champion, which is pretty ludicrous, for a jungler. You're getting about almost like 1,000 gold a minute, which is pretty crazy in wildrift. But there we go. Enjoy, and hope this information helps you on how to win games as a jungler.